It's Thursday. It's 11 a.m. and this is how quiet it is. It's a bit unusual. It's very hot. It's going to be 33, I think, at its highest at about 7 o'clock this evening. 33 centigrade. And we are going into the square for a meal for my birthday. Well, I say a meal. I prefer it to be low key. I don't want to have to get all dressed up and do all that dressing up and going out for my birthday and making a big thing of it. I can't help it. I'm not interested in doing that. So we're going to go to the place in the square that serves burger and chips because they do nice burgers and nice chips, and it's just on the edge of the square. They have music playing. Normally, sort of drifting out from inside. It's sort of music that sometimes it's a bit like I can't remember the name now. Cuban music, and I can't remember the name, but that's sort of nice sort of background music, and it's just a nice atmosphere. And on a day like today, an evening like this evening will be, being in the square, it's really lovely, and it's really it's sort of quintessential France, and that's where I'd like to be. So that's what we're planning. Otherwise, we're not really going anywhere in this heat. Ludo's meant to be coming this afternoon. He said he was coming this afternoon. I think he's mad to come over and do streaming in this heat, so he may well not turn up. I don't know. Mark topped up the pond. We've got a small fish pond at the front that I've shown you. Water lilies in it, and you've seen the fish in it just by the front door there, where that lavender is. He topped that up last night, and I'm not seeing any fish. And I found a dead fish there a few weeks back, but I'm not seeing any fish in there. And it's moving water actually, but I always sort of think of it as still water that mozzies can lay their eggs in. So we have fish in there really just to be eating any mozzie larvae or eggs. So I think on Monday, when it'll be a bit cooler, we'll go out and buy some fish from one of the local places that sells pond fish and restock it. The cockerel is certainly no worse than he was yesterday. He might even be a little bit better. It's difficult to tell. He's still where I videoed them yesterday. First of all, under that big shrub, they're all over there. Ida's over there in the shade. The cockerel and the hen are over there, and they spend a lot of time there in the shade very sensibly. And he's sitting down there, and I don't know. I don't want to risk and say that I think he's a bit better, but he's certainly not gone down at all. He's certainly as good as he was. I left the food mix. I left the food mix down there yesterday evening for them to carry on eating. They'd eaten most of it, and they've eaten a bit more today, and I've tipped the rest of it out. And the smaller hens can have the rest of it. It won't do any harm to anybody. And then I'll do another mix up for today, I think. And just keep doing that I put different stuff in it yesterday. It had ginger in it. It had apple cider vinegar, probiotic. What else did I put it in? I put herbs in. I think today I'll put beetroot powder in because that'll make it red, and chickens are attracted to pecking at red stuff. So I'll put beetroot powder in, and just cloves that was in it yesterday, and cinnamon was in it yesterday. So really doing up stuff that would be good for us. God, there's ants everywhere. I don't know if they're coming. I'm sitting under the umbrella, and which is under the walnut tree, but I can't see where the ants are coming from. but every so often there's the one or two plodding around the table, and then they're landing. They're coming on me, so they. Where am I in relation to the tree? No, I can't work out where they're coming from. Jo's coming this afternoon, I think, but she may not come this afternoon if she decides to join us this evening in the square. Timing might not be right for her, but I'm waiting to see. Looking up there and thinking our bedroom shutters and window need to be closed. I'm going to go and do that in a minute to keep out the extra heat we're going to get today. That middle bedroom could do with the shutters closed because nobody goes in there, and it's might as well be closed as open, and leave the shutters open in that bedroom because I've got the cycle up there that I haven't got on yet. I need to go and get on that and do some cycling now it's back in there. I might do that. I'll go up and close our window and then do a bit of cycling. I might take my book with me and see if I can read and cycle at the same time to distract myself. We're going to have the eggs. Those eggs! I couldn't believe it yesterday. We went down, I think it was about 9:45, 9:30, 9:45. So I'd got my head torch on, which I haven't been wearing, because it's darker in the coop than it is outside. And was just gradually, you know, bringing everybody, getting sort of herding the little hens, smaller hens, into the cage, which is getting quite easy to do. Mark stands and holds the cage lifted so they can go underneath and go in, and we've got a spoon on a pole that we use to lift out eggs from a distance, and I'm just using that, and that's working with herding them. So I herded them in, but as I was herding them from over in the corner, I spotted these eggs and I couldn't believe it. I really had badly estimated how old they were, and I hadn't asked in the market how old they were. Normally when you buy hens that are point of lay can be anything from 18 weeks. And I just thought that's how old they were. But that hen, that Azure, has laid an egg. She's been here since Saturday, and she's laid 4 eggs. And yesterday was Wednesday, so she's practically laid an egg every day. It's just stunning. It's just amazing. So it's really exciting. They're small because when they first start to lay, their eggs are small, and as they get older, their eggs get bigger. But we're going to have those for lunch. Haven't had eggs for ages. They won't be as nice as our eggs are normally because our hens and chicken, our hens are fed well. We feed them with ponders, which is layers pellets, and quite often French farmers don't do that. They feed with it's called Basse-Cour. I can't remember what the translation for that is, but it's a mix of corn and wheat and you know, just sort of like a scratch food. Whereas what we're giving the ponders is a layers pellets, which has got all the necessary nutrients and minerals, and it's good quality, which it affects the quality of the eggs. I can remember having eggs when we were here on the house exchange, from the people that we were exchanging with, and they were fed mixed grain, and the egg quality, I didn't really notice then because I hadn't been keeping eggs that long, chickens that long myself, but the egg quality was very different. The white wasn't as solid as, so that it was sort of a bit watery and runny when you put it into a pan. So I'm expecting these eggs today might be of lesser quality than we're used to, but we're going to have eggs on toast. So I'm going to have toast. I hope I don't regret it, because I don't normally eat bread nowadays. I haven't really eaten bread since March, and I'm not missing it at all. I'm only doing toast because eggs on toast is nice, and it's a good thing to have for lunch if we're going out this evening. So because you can't really have eggs on crackers, and all I eat in the evening are buckwheat crackers with Marmite and peanut butter, and a bit of something like tomato or raw carrot or whatever. So I'm not missing bread at all, really not. Um, and will remind myself when I have the toast today that that's why I don't miss it, because actually it's not. And it's reasonable bread that we were getting for Mark when he was having sandwiches. He's not having bread now. He's lost. How much has he lost since in 4 weeks? In 4 weeks, I think he's lost 4 kilos because he's stopped eating bread. So he's gone non-gluten, not deliberately, but you know, the stuff in the house is non-gluten. If I'm doing pasta, it's non-gluten. I'm going to give you a different view. You get ready, you're going to see me. Do I look any older? Have I aged overnight? So yeah, he's not really eating gluten. So we're both having, he's having oat crackers. I'm having buckwheat crackers. Both of them are non-gluten and or gluten free. And so yeah, he's lost 4 kilos in a month, I think, which is brilliant. I've lost 5 kilos, but I've lost 5 kilos since March. It just is. It's always been a battle. And even with what I'm doing, it's still a battle, and it's a real pisser. It is a real pisser. To this, I'm really pleased that when I stand on the scales, that I am gradually, very, very slowly going downwards. And some days I might be up a bit, and then some days I've gone back down again. And um, but it's so frustrating. You know, other people who eat what I eat would be losing a lot of weight, and I can only put it down to the steroids and insulin resistance. And I thought that all those years ago when we went onto intermittent fasting, which is since 2016, so that's 8 years ago, that was to address insulin resistance. And but then I started taking steroids around about the same time, and um, not a lot has happened. I did lose quite a bit of weight on the Fast 800 diet, and then gradually put it back on again, which is what happens if you go on a diet. If you lose weight on a diet, quite often you'll put the weight back on plus more. I didn't do that. I stayed below my upper weight, but I'm really pleased at where I am now. But I'd like to see a bit more movement on the scales. Um, it's quite frustrating. So yeah, so we're having bread, and the gluten thing for me is about hopefully addressing the potential of having leaky gut, and that causing autoimmune. So that's the reason. And also pain. So having bread today, I'm hopeful will be okay, but it will remind me of why I'm not really fussed. Because once I've toasted it and whatever, and I eat it, it's like, well, what was all the fuss about? So yeah, we're gonna have the eggs today. I'll do some beans or something as well. Mark likes beans. I'm not really fussed about beans, but they're good for you, aren't they? So I'll do some beans. Uh, lots of butterflies. Lots of butterflies. We've sat watching a couple of dragonflies um, eating, hunting and eating in the air. And you can see them against the backdrop of the kiwi and the house. But they're so quick you can't catch them on camera. But there are a lot of butterflies around. It's a proper French summer's day, which we've not really had. Um, we've not really had. So it's really nice to be sitting here at the moment, but we will close up later to keep the heat out, which we haven't really done that today this year, I don't think. So the hens, before I let them out, I put once I'd let them out into I've left them in the smaller run today because if Ludo's coming, I want him to clean, to strim in that big run, and I need to be here to make sure that he doesn't open up that small run because there's chickens in there, and if we're not here, that could happen, and then they'd escape, and then they'd be free ranging, and it's too soon for them to free range. I think I'll give them another week. it depends on how they integrate. You know, I don't want them out free ranging and being chased by Mrs. Brahma and then running off or running away and being too far. Because normally when you allow chickens out, they sort of, you know, gradually move away and away and away from the um, from home, the coop, and that wouldn't happen if they got pursued. So I'm going to be quite careful. You know, they've got plenty to keep them occupied, and once Ludo's been this afternoon, they can have that run again. And there's a tree in there that this not today because he won't have come with his chainsaw, but there's a tree in there that's laying down, which is an elderberry tree, and it's laying down right across that run that they're in. And when we go down at night, the white hen is still in there, and I can't get across because it's just like this. So I'm going to get him to remove that when he next comes, to make that run more accessible. It's also partly makes it dangerous because it's great for the fweens to come in and out, pine martens, to come down that tree, so it'll make it a little bit more secure. Not that I'll ever leave anybody there at night again. Yeah, so yeah, they're fine. I put Diatom down there. I think that's what I was about to say. I put Diatom down. They were dust bathing outside that hatch. I put Diatom there. I put Diatom where they're laying eggs and around that area, um, so they can preen and get that inside them and on them. Um, so that'll be a good thing to have done. And that's it. And I've got a cat out here somewhere. I keep hearing her every so often having a bit of a meow. She she came in last night. What were we watching? We watched Car SOS. I think we were watching Car SOS. And for a little while, I'd got a blanket on my legs because it's been quite cool inside. And I took the blanket off because I got quite hot. And she was next to where my legs were on a stool, a footrest. And I threw the blanket over her and she didn't move. And then I threw it over her more. And eventually she was in the blanket and she was there for an hour, more than an hour, no head poking out, just wrapped in a blanket. It's really cute. So my girouette, let's have a look at that and see where that's pointing. Hold on. That was a birthday present several years ago. So she's pointing... Oh, I don't know whether that's turned. So she's pointing south, but I don't think that... I reckon that southwest east thing's moved a bit, or maybe not. So she's pointing south. Yeah, that was a birthday present. I can't remember when now. Oh, probably 6 years ago. One of my better birthday presents, I think. The she was much more expensive than... I don't know whether you can see it. I can't see it. Over... Did you see my garden swirly thing with the spoons on it? Is that showing up? That was €35 from the Brocante. I love that. I think Mark's moved it where he's been mowing. But yeah, that was another birthday present. On quite a cheap date, really. Okay, so that's it from here. Sorry about the blue sky. Oh, I looked at microphones. I looked at microphones again and thought, will I, won't I? I don't know what to do. You know, I'm not often far from the phone, and not often, it's not often that people complain about the volume or the sound. But I don't want to end up with you being, with me sounding strident on a microphone. I wouldn't like that. So I'm still thinking about it. It's in my box on Amazon. I'm just trying to zoom in now on the passion flower. Yeah, you can't really see that from here. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Anyway, have a nice day. Enjoy whatever you're doing. I hope you're warm if you want to be warm. I hope that those of you that want rain are getting rain, and that those of you that want snow are getting snow. Okay, take care. Bye.